Two. Check your mic, love.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2.
You hear yourself?
One,
Yes,
two.
I can. Yes, I can.
3, 4.
Say something, Regg.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Make me pull myself up here, so. Yeah, right there. So.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2.
That's good right there.
Yes, sir.
You ready? You ready?
You ain't gonna get no feedback from the headphones, right?
No. You're good. Try not to hit the table like that. There's no cushion.
Back up a little bit. Grandma used to tell you don't put your elbows on the table. That's what she meant. That's what she was talking about. Now you felt bad.
You got me like this.
You're like, oh, damn, she right.
It's Hot 937, hot937.com, man. Special guest in the building right now with us, man. Hot morning from Buck and Regg. Lord, how you say it?
Afrixana.
Lord Afrixana.
Afrixana.
Yeah.
How you been, man?
Listen, I got first and foremost, I gotta say, when you're on the radio with legends.
Where?
Come on now.
Where?
Come on, listen, I give my flowers up front. I don't like to give my flowers later on.
You must be from the area. Where you from?
I'm from Worcester, Massachusetts, man.
From Boston, yeah.
Nah, Worcester.
Oh,
Gotta say
give him
Worcester.
that Boston. Gotta give him
Listen,
that Worcester.
I'm never want to be one of those kids who claims Boston when I'm not from Boston. I'm from Worcester.
Yeah.
You know?
From Western Mass.
Yes, sir. Worcester, Massachusetts.
Born where though?
Born in Ghana.
And when did you come to Mass?
I came to Mass when I was 6 years old.
6 years old? Yeah. Oh, so you from Mass?
Yeah,
Do you ever get back home?
No, I haven't been back home since.
No.
Since 6? Well, that's tough. That's not a place that you just say, you know what, I'm going to go back to Ghana today.
Yeah. First of all, the ticket's expensive. Inflation is high and the ticket's expensive. So.
Well, you know what? You need to get with, what was the airline that I reported today?
Frontier,
yeah.
Listen.
$300,
Don't
you
get me
can fly
started on
wherever you
Frontier.
want for the month.
Don't get
Frontier.
me started on Frontier. I took a trip to Frontier to Puerto Rico. They canceled us twice.
Twice?
On the way there. So then I tried to get my money back. I was like, listen, y'all canceled the flight on me.
Right.
Can I get my money back? They canceled the back end of the trip.
Ooh.
So now I got to rebook 2 flights. Listen, I was sick.
Wow.
Again.
Tell me about this journey of yours, man, to where you are right now, man. How did it stop?
For me, like music really started for me when I was 14. So my mother immigrated back to Ghana with my sisters, and it was just me and my father. So I had to kind of deal with losing kind of, my female core. So I started writing. And I started writing stories, plays, poetry, all of it. And in that process, I realized, like, oh, I'm kind of decent with this.
Nice with it, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, especially with high school, and you're trying to figure out what can I really offer to the social dynamic of high school, rap made me cool. You know what I mean?
It made you fit in.
It made me fit in. Like, it became a thing for me where I was able to really, bond with different groups of people and bond with different kind of just like, I was cool with the ladies, I was cool with the dudes because of the fact that I could rap. You know what I mean? So because of that, I really just leaned into it a little bit more, and it turned into like this thing for me where I never created a plan B.
Was your mom satisfied with this role? Was your mom happy?
What African mom would be?
What plan did your mom have for you?
See, my mom always wanted just me. The thing about my parents that I love is it was never the pressure of like, you got to be a doctor, you got to be an engineer. It was more like, you just got to go to school. They wanted me to get a PhD. That was their thing. So my mama wanted me to be the first doctor, in the family. And I was just like, So,
That's pressure.
Listen, because I'm the oldest, So I got to set the example from, I got 2 younger sisters. So for me, like, I'm the only boy. I'm the oldest. She wanted a doctor. So I ended up starting, I went to do my bachelor's in Mississippi at Alcorn State University. And then, I came back, did my master's in Worcester. And then I started a PhD. Like, I started the first year, I was like, I'm going to do it for mama.
For mom, I'm going to do it. That's what she wants.
That's all she wants. I'm going to do it for mama. But then I got to a point I was just burned out. I was like, I can't do this. Because, when you get there, they tell you off the rip, they're like, this is going to take you 6 to 7 years.
Right.
And it's like, that's like going and doing a bid already. I already did 6.
Already.
You're going to come and tell me I got to do 6 more?
And I can write these lyrics this fast?
Listen, I was like, you know what? I started praying. I was like, yo, God, if this is where I'm supposed to go, I'll stay. But if this ain't where I'm supposed to be, let me know. And literally, like a month later, I get a phone call from a friend of mine who was living in LA. And he was like, listen, I'm writing on this dude's project. We had a writer in that we were working with. We fell out. Can you come write these records with us and finish this album? And I was just like, yeah, of course. And he's like, wait, but do you write pop records? And I was like, yeah.
Never
of
real
course
I can do
Listen,
that.
we know black.
But at the time,
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know pop format. And I think my guy knew But he
Right.
was like, I could teach him at least. You know what I mean? So I came down there, and the thing that I realized immediately, I was like, yo, this rap can really translate to pop if you understand what the format is.
Right.
So once he taught me the format and all that, I was like, oh, this is light.
I can
This
do
is-
it.
Yeah, like this, usually have to write a 16. I only have to write 8, like 4. Like, okay.
You
This
gotta
is
be that
light.
aggressive.
I ain't got, you know what I mean? I could be sweet. I could be nice. I could
Yeah.
kind of dance in different circles. So it allowed me to pull on things I usually normally don't get to pull on in terms of concepts and lyrics and things to talk about. So when I finished the project, literally 2 days later, the boy got signed to Sony.
Wow.
So immediately I was like, oh, this is what this feels like. This is the instantaneousness of like my creativity.
Yo, it happened. Did that happen fast?
Yeah.
Do you think that happened really fast for you?
I think it was supposed to happen when it was supposed to happen.
Because it doesn't happen fast for a lot of people. A lot of people say like 10, 15 years they've been in this game trying to make it.
That, I mean,
Or it
that's,
still takes that.
I think that's what it was. There's still people who've been doing it that long, but the people who actually get on now, I think it kind of happens fast for them now with social media and everything.
Yeah.
So it don't take as long as it did back in the day.
But even then, like for me, like you understand, I've been writing since I was 14 years old.
It's been a while.
And let's be real, when you're creative, you think you're supposed to make it every year.
Yeah.
You're
So,
right.
you know what I mean? So I
You're
spent
right.
a strong like 10 years, like I'm about to make it this year. I'm about to
Okay.
make it this year. Never.
How long were you taking it like serious? Was it at the point where you went out to LA, or were you thinking about taking it serious before that?
I always took it serious. Like I was never one person to ever think that I wasn't gonna make it. So like for me, like you can go back to my neighborhood and everybody that's ever known me will tell you like he was supposed
He
to.
was supposed to be.
There was nothing
He
else.
is where he's supposed to be at. Right now.
Exactly.
Even
And that-
during the time of going to school?
Everything. Because for me, like I said, I've never had a plan B. That was the point. Like I purposely didn't make a plan B because I'm like there should be nothing to fall back on if you're really chasing this.
Tell me about this poetry and how you use it on the ladies.
Come on, man.
Tell me about this
Look,
poetry
listen.
and what you said to these young
Listen,
ladies.
so there's two things about the poetry, right?
Tell me.
The first level is when I was in high school, I used to use it to make money.
Okay.
Because I had guys who were from the hood who really didn't know how to talk to their shorties. So when Valentine's Day come around, I used to get a stack of get a stack of Valentine's Day cards. I'd be writing these little 5, 6
You was
line
the guy
poems.
writing them?
Come on, my guy. I had that little 5, 6 line poem in there.
Oh,
You
the hallmark.
grab a little carnation, slip it in her locker. Listen, $10 a pop. I was eating. Listen, we was eating Papaginos with the team, baby. We was eating good.
That's classic right there, man.
But again, that's when I learned about the power of words. Like I really understood like the way you speak, the way you tell these words and use these words. Like there's life in them. You know what I mean?
It's like, what do you see when you see a blank piece of paper? What can become of that blank piece of paper?
Oh, everything. Like again, like I love to write from perspective. I love to write from feeling. I love to write from experience. So I'm the type of person, like, even when I'm writing for other people, I'm never writing for me. You know what I mean? Because I always tell people, like, people ask me, like, oh, when you write for other people, how do you, get in those shoes? And I'm like,
Yeah.
you understand? I'm just a hammer in the belt. You know what I mean? I'm just another tool in the cog. So for me, when I write for you, I keep in mind that you're going to have to sing this for like 10 to 15 years after I'm gone. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be the person who has to sing this. You do. So it has to mean something to you. It has to feel like something to you. If it doesn't, you're not going to want to sing this song. You're not going to want to push this song. So when I write records for people, I make sure I write records for people.
So do you have to sit down with them, talk to them, get to know, because you're writing it for
100%.
them, so you want to, it's like you have to get into character of them.
It's an actor.
Yeah.
Same thing as being an actor. And it's almost like I always have this term, like I'm a hitman, right? So when I go into a session with somebody I don't know, I've never met, I always make sure I get background information.
Right.
I always talk to like a producer or engineer that may know that person. I say, yo, let me know about this person. Give me their background, like their personality, what's their disposition, those type of things, because all those things affect what I'm going to write for you. Because I'm never trying to write the record that you're in the space of right now. I'm trying to write the record for you tomorrow. Because at the end of the day, like, you're going to have to sing it tomorrow, not today. You know, so it's important to me to like know who you're gonna be.
Now, when you're writing for other people, it's like the reference track. Sometimes you don't have all the words; you just have the chorus. You have the melodies in you.
I tried it. You know what's funny? In the beginning, I used to do that,
Did
but
you?
I'd be scared to do that because like a lot of people don't get it.
They don't want your ideas to turn their words to turn into ideas you don't have. So you don't do that.
I try to give you the full song.
the whole thing.
I don't try to give you an undone cake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I try to give you a fully done.
But that does
dessert.
happen. You know what I'm
It
talking
does.
about? People get reference track and they get the humming. And so
Yeah.
it's up to you. Let's you figure out the word.
It's
This
like
is
the
how I
melody.
want it
They
to
give you
go.
the melody.
I've done it, and it's like I don't like it as much because for me, like, you're boxing me in. you're not allowing me to kind of go anywhere that I want my mind to go. Like I already am starting from inside the box.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? By you limiting my melody range, by what you choose. So most of the time, like I try to be in the room when the idea starts. I try to be in the room, you know what I mean, when through conception.
Right.
Because it's hard. Like, you know what I mean? And then, you know, as creators, we have ego. So it's really hard for me to, like, unless I know who that person is, who that writer is, it's hard for me to even step in their shoes and know what their perspective was when they were writing and doing the humming and the melody.
Right.
You know, so.
So when did you come from behind the pen to the forefront of being the writer and the performer?
Honestly, like I'd say the last 4 years. Because I got an opportunity to work with Beyonce. Right?
That's a big opportunity.
Listen, that's God. That's God
phone-
lining
That phone call right there, man.
Listen, that's God lining it up.
You got an
I'll tell you that
opportunity.
right
You
now.
got it's a lifeline.
Listen, everything that I've ever gotten is just ordained. Like I've never been the type of person where like I take credit for it because I come from Worcester, Massachusetts. They don't come looking for us.
No.
You know what I mean? This ain't the '90s. Like, you know what I mean? Like people ain't coming to the hood and knock on your door and say I'm looking for Nas.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That don't happen to us. So it's like for me, like you always have to leave to go get it. You know what I mean? So like I always knew off the rip that it's like, man, for me to get one of these opportunities, I'm gonna need a divine A&R, if you will. You know what I mean? So like I remember like, so every year what I do at New Year's is I write a list of just impossible dreams, right?
Impossible.
Like it has to be something that I cannot achieve on my own, right? So I write a list of like 10 things and I say, all right, cool. By the end of the year, I'm gonna look at this list and then see what, where God kind of brought me. So I promise you, and this is, honest to God, hand to God, I wrote Grammy nomination. I wrote working with a A-list artist, and I remember I wrote like things like, getting a brand new car and those type of things, right? And I'm like, all right, these are all impossible things for me right now.
Right.
So then I'm sitting at home, and at the time I just had my daughter. So, I'm at home and I'm like shutting it down. I'm like, man, how am I going to really get back to LA? Because usually I'm used to going to LA for like 3 months at a time, come back.
Now you got to,
Now I got to be home. So I'm like, all right, what can I do? What can I add to my repertoire to make me still a skilled writer? So I was like, I'm going to go home and teach myself how to record. Because I can't afford to do 16-hour sessions on somebody else's dime no more. So I was like, all right, if I'm going to go home, I'm going to learn some skills. So I'm sitting there teaching myself how to record, and then in the process, I started really exploring my sound and what I considered my sound, because up until then, I've been working on pop, folk music, EDM, dance music, so I've been doing everything for everybody else. I never got a chance to sit back and say, what do I sound like?
Right.
So then that opportunity came, with my daughter, so I sat there for a solid 2 years and just was writing songs for myself. And I started realizing I started leaning more and more into African music, leaning more and more into like things I was raised on with my mama in the house.
Right.
You know what I mean? And going back to those type of things. And I was like, you know what? Let me test this Afro thing out. Let me really test it out. And at the time, I'm really hearing these records bubble from back home.
They were coming.
You know what I mean?
They were coming.
And like, being an African and being in these like, be at an African party or being at an African wedding,
Right.
we're hearing these records way before any American counterparts are hearing them. So we're hearing like the underground bubble
You knew it.
of Afrobeats coming. And I'm telling friends, I'm like, yo, this Afrobeat thing coming.
to
And they're
happen.
looking at me crazy like, right? Man, it's a fad. It's gonna be like reggaeton. And I'm like, nah, bro, this is different. There's a lot of Africans, bro. Because you understand, Africa just plugged into the internet. So that's what people don't realize, that really was the changing of the guard. As soon as Africa plugged into the internet, now Africans can say, I'm gonna upload my songs. I'm gonna upload my stuff to
they
SoundCloud.
did.
And we did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They
So in creating that sound and creating those records, I ended up coming up with like a batch of like 60 records. And I'm sitting there one day, and again, I'm praying, and I'm like, God, look, I need something. And I get a phone call from my publishing company, and they're like, hey, do you have any Afrobeat records? And I'm looking, and I'm sitting there like,
hey,
and I get it. So I send them like, and when you desperate, you send them everything. You send everything. I sent like 30 records to these people. They were like, okay. So then I get a phone call, like they went silent for like months. And then I get a random phone call, and it's like, hey, it's like a Tuesday, and it's like, yo, can you be in LA on Thursday? And when my publishing company say that, it's something.
You know
So I'm
it's
like,
serious.
Yeah, it's something. Like you don't just, I need you Thursday. And I'm like, all right, cool. But like, what we working on? I'll let you know. And I'm like, they being real secretive. For like, so I'm just sitting there. I'm sitting with my girl, and I'm like, who could it be? I get a phone call the day before I'm supposed to leave. They're like, all right, listen, we got you working with Beyonce on this Black is King album.
What?
You know what I mean? This, and I'm just like, yo, I'm in the car with my shorty, and I'm like, You know, you put the phone in
That's
your
how it
chest
happened,
like,
yeah.
you're like, yo, Beyonce.
Yeah.
Beyonce.
You don't want them to hear us.
You know, because they know I'm there fangirling.
You sitting there on the phone like, you did say B,
Yeah,
right?
right. You know, saying Sierra or Beyonce.
It wasn't Beyonce.
It's like, no, this is Beyonce. I was like, so immediately I'm like, you know, the writer in me, because, you know, at this point in my career, like, I wouldn't consider myself a big fry. Like, I worked with some big names,
right?
But I wouldn't consider myself a big fry. So when I get to LA and I walk into this lady's office, and I'm just like, man, it's a machine. You get so much respect for this woman. Like, my God, like what she's able to do with 10 people is what labels are trying to do with 30. And that's what's so amazing to me when I saw like kind of how the system works, the system of Beyonce works. I'm talking about this lady's doing $1 million meetings, you know, for Ivy Park, and at the same time is doing a photo shoot in this location. At the same time is, you know, breaking down music videos that she needs to shoot. So I'm like, yo, she's a conglomerate, like on her own. You know what I mean? It takes companies to do this. And I'm like,
and she's doing it in one room.
In one room. And it just gave me a different respect for her. And then also for her to bring all these African artists and producers into one room. And because, you know, when Beyonce goes, everybody show up.
Everybody comes.
Everybody pull
I
up.
don't think she heard
Nobody
no in a minute.
representative shows up. No, they going.
Yeah, they pulling up. You ain't just going to diss Beyonce.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in this office and I'm just thinking to myself like, wow, everybody in here is Grammy Award winning. Everybody in here is that person, that guy. And I'm just like, and they're looking at me like, you got it. You can do it. And I'm just like, this is the best cosign for me. So, you know, after that camp is when I really, you know, I called my manager and I was like, I think it's time to do this. You know, I think it's time for her to do this. And then for her to turn around and like keep me on the record. Because, you know, I'm coming into the camp as a writer.
Right.
I'm not coming into the camp as an artist. So they're not looking at me like, oh, we going to keep his vocals on here. I'm looking at it like, Lord, if they just keep a song, I'm happy.
A song at least.
Like, if they keep a song, I'm happy. So when I get the phone call like, hey, they want to keep your vocals on the record.
Ooh.
I'm like, so I call my manager like, bro, we got one. Like, Mortimer, we're back.
Don't they know him from Worcester?
You know what I mean?
Mortimer, we're back.
Mortimer, we're back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just one of those feelings where you're like,
That's from Trading Places, by the way.
listen,
For
I'm
you
gonna bring y'all
youngers
back.
that don't know.
Give y'all some references. But, you know, it was just one of those feelings where we feel like, because again, like me and my manager, we worked hard to develop the sound that I ended up coming up with. So for us to really get that public cosign, and that very big public cosign was like, all right, cool, we going the right way. We know what we're doing, and then it just gave us confidence. It emboldened us to really just lean into it. So then the project by itself just kind of opened up, you know, and it just became what it is. And, you know, Protect the Culture came up, Warner came up, and it just seemed like a fit.
Now let's go back to when your mom didn't want you to do music.
Mm-hmm.
And you go back and you say, Beyonce, here, look at this. Listen to these African songs. Listen to this. What was the feel then?
It's so good because like Beyonce's one of those names, right, that the grandmother knows.
Oh yeah,
You know
Nana
what I mean?
knows.
You know what I mean? Nana knows Beyonce. So like when I go home and like, cause the thing about Africans, right? All we want to do is be able to brag on our kids. That's why we want you to
That's
be a
right.
doctor, engineer, lawyer, so we can go to our home girl and be like, girl, my baby just graduated from Stanford.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it just stud on your friends. So like when my mom was able to go to like the church and be like, my son wrote for Beyonce.
Oh,
Listen, it's a whole different conversation. That shit like,
the whole room stopped.
oh, I know Beyonce. Like I've seen Jay-Z. I know. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just a lovely feeling to be able to offer that to like my mom and my dad, and for them to be able to be like, that's my son. You know what I mean? So it's like, because I'm the black sheep. I'm the one who's stubborn. I'm the one who will, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna gamble. I'm gonna see how we can make it. But I'm also the one who comes back with the biggest, you know, bag, because I'm the one who's willing to risk it.
This is big from Worcester.
This is massive.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
A guy from Worcester,
Jordan Lucas.
Jordan Lucas,
Yeah, that's my
a
guy.
great DJ friend of mine who used to buy records from. We grew up together. Stratford is named DJ Charles. I don't know if you know Charles. He's a big DJ in Worcester. He's always DJing
I
everywhere.
don't know Charles.
He's out there.
You talking about Charles? Come on.
It's my guy.
Charles Safford?
It's my guy.
Come on.
You know Charles?
Call Charles right now if you want to.
You serious?
I'm so serious.
That is my
I
guy.
promise you after this we'll call him.
That's my guy.
You'll see. You'll see what his face looks like when you see my
Small
face.
world.
Yeah. You understand? Like in my city, like it's a very small music community. So it's like if you do music in my city, we know each other. We know each other. We grew up in this. So it's like I cut my teeth with a lot of these people. So for me, like when I got signed, it was like the son, like this is the prodigal son moment.
Yeah.
It's like that's why I'm so happy. Like even my first music video, right? Like I made sure I was like, I'm going to do it with Worcester kids. So my director's a Worcester kid. My producer's a Worcester kid. Because I understand very fully that we're the only ones that are gonna save each other. Ain't no one coming to save us.
Yeah.
There ain't nobody driving all the way
Yo,
from New
there's
York.
not a
3.5
lot in Worcester. They shut them all down in Worcester.
Listen, The mall is gone.
The mall gone.
Both malls.
Yeah, they
Because remember,
gone.
they used to be a fashion outlet a long time ago downtown, and then the Greendale Mall, and they both
You
gone.
right by the highway. It's like a hospital or
Listen,
something
it's
right now.
gone.
Nothing there.
It's gone.
You know what? Worcester is a highway sign to me. I pass Worcester. I see it all the time.
Welcome to
And I
Worcester.
don't- Yeah.
On the front of the sign, on the back of the
Listen,
sign,
listen,
you're now leaving
you're
Worcester.
leaving Worcester.
Listen, what
Going right past it.
But I love this is what I love about Worcester though, because of that, right? Because we're smack dab in the middle, we get the mix of everybody.
Everybody.
Like everybody lives in Worcester. Because the thing is like it's a blue collar town. So it's not like the town where it's like you gonna have the wealthy kids over here. Like it's not everybody's kind of on a similar level. It's an old factory town. So you know what I mean? So it's like it's just like instead of the old factory workers, you got immigrants.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like any hospital you go to, you're gonna have a whole bunch of Ghanaians in it. Any restaurant you like, that's why I love about growing up in Worcester. Like it's the last place you would think you could grow up Ghanaian, but it's the best place to grow up Ghanaian.
Yeah, it's a big population of West Indians and Africans.
Listen,
there.
it's literally per square mile. You can look it up on Wiki. We have the largest population of Ghanaians per square mile in the United States.
Wow.
That's how concentrated Ghanaians live in my city.
It had to be kind of tough getting your music heard and getting people to take you serious there.
Yeah.
Because like you said, here in Connecticut it's tough and it's a
y'all
much
closer.
bigger. It's closer and it's bigger. And so for you to be there, it had to be super tough. But you got two now. You and Jordan Lucas.
Yeah, and
Jordan Lucas. I'm sorry.
I love Jordan, man. Like I've really got to see Jordan like since a kid. Like I'm talking about like when he says he's been rapping since like 6, 7. No, he's not lying. Like I'm talking about 7, 8, 10 years old in ciphers, and he's a pro. Like I always say like this, like Jordan is the best rapper in Worcester. I don't care what anybody tells you. Hands down. You're not arguing with me because he can rap circles
I don't
around
think
you.
anybody would argue that.
Yeah, and like I feel like I'm the best artist in Worcester.
Lord, what do you prefer? The African music or the hip hop or rapping?
Everything.
Because
I don't pick one. I don't pick one because like
I watched your videos where you're rapping. I'm like, wait a minute, he's a rapper.
It's all me. It's all me. Like that's.
Then I said, wait a minute, no, he's something else.
He's singing. Like and then he's doing it. No, it's all me. Like it's like that's the beauty for me is like I do not believe in sticking to one. There's no reason to. Like I'd be lying to myself if I said I'm only a rapper. I'm not. I'd be lying to myself if I said I'm a singer. I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm an artist. Like I like to make art, no matter what that means or no matter what package it comes in. I like that.
So what would the perfect album sound like from you? Let's say the first 5 tracks, what would it sound like?
Oh my God. You're gonna get a pop record, you're gonna get a hip hop record, you're gonna get an Afrobeat record, you might even get just like an R&B slow jam. Like I enjoy being able to speak various languages. Like imagine if you could speak 3 languages. You wouldn't use it to your advantage?
Man.
If you could speak French, Spanish, and Russian,
Yeah, definitely.
you be looking for opportunities to do it. You feel what I'm saying? Like you be going to the Spanish bodega like, papi, like you know what I mean? Like you be quick to like use it as whenever you can. So like for me, that's why I love it. It's like they're different languages. You know what I mean? And when I got into songwriting, that's what saved me. It's like I learned the languages very quickly. And once I learned the languages, I was like, oh. Because the only way you can, bend the rules is to learn the rules first. Once you learn the rules, you can bend them. So it's like, for me, it's the Matrix. You know what I mean? It's like Neo says, like, you don't bend the spoon, you bend the space around the spoon.
Lord, your list now is going to change. Your things, your impossible things to do. What's going to be on this next list? What's on the list right now for the impossibles?
To have a #1 single. That's one. I want to be an EGOT. I want to have an Emmy. I want to have a Grammy. I want to have an Oscar. And I want to have a Tony. I feel like that's not that crazy. Like, you know what I mean? In high school, I went to a magnet school. So, that's how they teach you. They teach you how to do theater, dance, music, all of it, visual arts, all of it.
You can do some acting too?
Yeah, of course. I love it.
You can get into character?
Listen, immediately. What would you like? What role are we doing? Come on. How we going?
I'm
Set
just
the
sitting
scene.
here
Set the
thinking.
scene. You know what I mean?
Okay, all right.
Give me a
okay.
scene, give me a scene.
Okay. So now you leave the radio station.
Yeah.
It was summer when you came in.
Mm-hmm.
Now you leaving.
Mm-hmm.
December.
You got
5
this
below.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you don't got no coat on.
No, yeah.
Okay, so this is what's gonna happen. I gotta tap you because you in the car.
I'm in the car.
The car's warm.
Yeah.
I'm tapping on the window like, hey, bro, listen, I don't even know like how I got here right now, but like I need your help. I need you to. Do you have a code or something that I could borrow, or a phone? Like I need to call somebody. Like I don't even know how I got here. Do you know what's going on? See.
Buck, I thought I was hoping you was gonna get carried.
I was waiting for the response.
Wait, I was so into his performance.
You're supposed to get into your character. Buck missed his line. lines.
Man.
Hold on, we looking at Buck for his lines. Buck said,
You rap, right? Let me see something.
You wanna hear something?
freestyle time.
We were legends in the making, slowly never taken. They was just mad, they was actors, always faking. I was always chasing, bank count, counting. They was just mad, we was on the bounce, routing. We were taking trips, everywhere, strips. We was making money, sitting on that strip. Patient, waiting, everyone was chasing. Everyone was on the streets, we were just adjacent. We knew what it was when everyone was thugs and they weren't showing love, but we were showing slugs, cause we knew what it was when we had to make something out of nothing. We was feeling like MacGyver in these streets. Everybody trying to talk crazy to me now, like, nah, I never thought that you would make it. I'm like, how? I've been so consistent, so damn willing, and so damn patient. I was so damn criminal to not be smooth enough to be like Jackson and be like Mike. I mean Jordan, I mean rapping. I've been about action. I've been over here laughing. I've been over here clapping like round of applause, Captain. We were legends in the making, baby. We were legends in the making. Yeah. Say we were legends in the making, baby. We were legends in the making. Now I'm on the radio station chilling with Buck.
He's still going.
Reggie on the left. They know really what's
He's
up.
still going.
I pulled up to CT with my homegirl, Kay. You know what it is, baby. I'm on my way. Come on, you gotta love those, man. That's when you with the homeboys in front of the bodega. They're like, I bet you ain't gonna spit this bar. I'm gonna give you a word.
And you're gonna do it.
And you gotta
You're
do
it. This song right here.
Yeah,
The video is crazy.
I appreciate that.
The concept, you scared me in the video. I'm not, you don't look at me.
Where'd he go?
Where'd it go?
Listen, that's my guy Kwame Blue, man. That's
Tell me
what's
about
the-
this right here.
This whole song? Come
Yeah.
on, man. Like this I wanted to be a record that punched people in the mouth. I wanted to make a record that was aggressive, that represented like an immigrant, that represented
Right,
that
yeah.
dirty. Because a lot of the times when you hear Afro beats, it's sweet, it's loving, it's about a girl. And I'm like, nah, like the diversity of the African story is way more than that. And I'm an immigrant kid, like, you know what I mean? Like, our road was not easy. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like everything was just lovely and dovey. Like, nah, like, listen, we grinded for this. So for me, like, I wanted to make a record that represented that blue-collar immigrant African kid who gotta learn the culture and the language. Come on, say go a long way. Yeah, life is sweet, great, I no complain. See, I came all this way not to play games. No, I'm the coach. Say my grades, came to eat like buffet. Tell
So
'em.
you plan on getting back to
I
Ghana?
have to. Listen, for me, like, it's the only way to complete the circle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I really believe, like, in my heart of hearts, like, I'm the prodigal son. Like, I really believe, like, I'm the one who's supposed to go home and, like, build that hospital in my mom's hometown. Or, like, build that sports center in my
Your
dad's
mom's
hometown.
still there?
My mom's back here.
Your mom's back here.
Yeah, but it's like, you know what I mean? Those are the things that I like. Because, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, my parents aren't going to, like... Because, you know, we only last as long as the last person that remembers us, right? So for me, like, to put my mom and my dad's name on a building that's going to be there. Because, you know what I mean, when you walk into, like, a college, you see that dorm, and it's named after some, you know, older white man that was there hundreds of years ago, and they remember him clearly because of that. I'm like, what does that feel like for my family? When I'm able to say, you know what I mean, this is the, you know, the Patrick Anum, like, sports center, or this is the Letitia and Tim medical center. Like, that, to me, is how I, like, sign off and walk away from the game. Because, like, I could do this all day. I could do music all day, and it's cool, and it's fun, but it's ego. Yeah. It's pride. Yeah. And, like, what do you really leave to your kids? What do you leave for your family? And, like, those are the type of things I want to leave.
Lord, everything is good right now. You're in this business. You're doing great and everything. But being Guyanese and everything, what are some of the challenges that you have to deal with sometimes? Like the misconceptions that people have towards Guyanese people, and you know, for your family. Mm-hmm. There's been some time. When certain people look at you a certain way. How do you deal with that?
Embrace it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, it's really hard to sway me, right? It's really hard to, like, impact me in terms of like, affecting me with the outside noise. Like, listen, I grew up in a situation where I immigrated to Liberia when I was a kid, and then the Liberian war, like, civil war breaks out. So my family's literally leaving a civil war.
Right.
I have to deal with words and people. That's the least I have to worry about. You know what I mean? Like, the least of my concern is somebody talking about me. Like, come on. Like, it could be worse.
Do you feel like you'll have any resistance or any problems with going back to Ghana because you left there when you were 6?
I expect it.
So it might be people there who say, Well, he's been in America most of his life.
He's American.
He's American. He's making this music now because
it's popular.
it's popular.
Nah,
You expect that?
I expect that because you know what I mean. At the end of the day, like I cannot, like people are gonna defend their culture, right? Like you're gonna defend what is yours. It's the same thing with Black Americans when you talk about
Right.
white people trying to rap or something. You know what I mean? So like for me, like it was always about. It's more about like you understand like regardless of how or where I grew up, I'm still a Ghanaian. So even if I grew up in London, you'd have to say the same thing about that guy. Even if I grew up in Belgium, you'd have to say the same thing about that guy. But they're all Ghanaians. Like I eat the food, I speak the language, I dress like the attire. Like there's nothing not Ghanaian. Like what else would you need for me to be a Ghanaian? Like you know what I mean? Like because that's the thing for me. Like it's about the culture. That's what makes me a Ghanaian. It's not necessarily like my locale. Like even if I grew up, no matter where I grew up, like if I'm not eating the food, if I'm not speaking the language, if I'm not able to go to the church and pray and tree, like you know what I mean, like that's what makes me Ghanaian. You know what I mean? So that's why like even when people talk about the music that I make and they say like, what do you call it? And I'm like, I don't call it Afrobeats per se. Like the only reason I call it Afrobeats is because it's an African man singing to you.
Right.
That's what makes it Afrobeats to me. It's regardless if it's pop, regardless if I'm doing EDM, like it's an African boy singing to y'all. That's what makes it Afrobeats.
So what would be your rebuttal to people who feel like you're not from Guyana because you left and you're making this music? If somebody was to pose that question to you over there, what would you-
If I'm talking to somebody from Ghana and they're saying like you too American, which is gonna come up, like I'm just gonna say like, all right, so tell me what's a Ghanaian. Explain to me what is a Ghanaian, and I promise you I'm probably gonna check most of the boxes on that list, because that's the other thing that you gotta understand. Like we're arguing about definitions, right? We're arguing about semantics. So all right, cool. So define it for me. Define it for me in your way. What makes a Ghanaian? And I promise the only thing I'm probably not gonna check off is that I didn't live here, and that's it. That's the only difference between me and you.
But the culture is you.
The culture is
you.
Like, it's like I promise you right now, you go back home with me to Worcester, Massachusetts. Oh, we're very Ghanaian, and I wish you would tell every Worcester person that's Ghanaian descent that we're not. Come on, they're gonna look at you crazy.
It's a problem.
Like let somebody tell my mother she's not Ghanaian because she grew up here. Let somebody tell my father he's not Ghanaian because he spent 30+ years here.
You can't tell them that.
He gonna look at you crazy.
Can't tell them that.
You know what I mean?
Man, congratulations on all your success, man. The sky's the limit, man.
I appreciate you, man.
And you got to come back and hit one of these stages for us soon.
Listen,
You're right down the street.
When
I'll
I
come
make
pick you up.
when I make family, I make family. I'm very like big on this. Like I'm telling everybody this. The people that co-sign me up front and first and just look me in the eyes and they say, "Hey, I love your music. I respect you." Like those are the people I'm always gonna keep on hand. Like you know what I mean? Like I say, you're a made man. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to me, like you a made man. You good in my book. And plus you know Charles.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? You affiliated, you know what I mean?
Guy
Listen,
right
you
there.
understand. We gonna call him, you gonna see his
Yeah,
face,
we
he's gonna laugh.
That's crazy.
He gonna laugh hard too. He gonna be like, that's my guy. You know what I mean? I grew up with Charles for a long time, man. He's just a good person, man.
All right. Do we expect a EP or album coming soon?
Yeah, I got an EP dropping August 4th, and it's a 4-song EP, and the whole goal of it is just to really give people a sampler, a taste. You know what I mean? Because the first project I'll be dropping is called Kumasi Market. The EP is gonna be called Ghana Must Go, and Ghana Must Go is just based on the story of Ghanaians who were expelled from Nigeria back in the 80s. You know what I mean? Because of the oil boom, there was a bunch of illegal immigrants, they say, that moved to Nigeria. And when 83 hit and the money was running low, everybody was like, "I get them out of here." So they used to have these bags that they used to put all their things in, and like everybody's seen it. You ever seen a Haitian grandmother that come to America and she got that little picnic table looking bag?
Right.
That's what the Ghana Must Go bags are called.
That's
literally where that term comes from.
Oh, wow.
It's like those were the bags that they were giving people to put their things in, grab your stuff and get out.
Oh.
And there's literally a picture of 1 million Ghanaians sitting on the border of Nigeria, waiting to go.
Yeah, you definitely know the culture of it and the history.
Come on, man, I got to.
You got to come back. We got West Indian Week coming up, right?
Oh,
Reg?
that's right.
Like West Indian Week, every night it's a different island they celebrate.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Guyanese
Matter of fact,
night,
it's next week.
Guyanese night, Reg, that's the hottest night of the week.
Guyanese night, and
The ladies in there?
It's surprises.
Sorry, okay. The ladies in there.
Yeah.
That night?
You like, my bad, Kate, close your ears.
All due respect.
Man, it's crazy. Nah,
Listen.
but they got Jamaican night, which is crazy. Guyanese night is off the chain. They got Barbadian night, Trinidadian night.
Yeah.
They even got American night.
You let me know when you need me, man.
I need a few words. So, Guyanese night. I'm gonna run up on a few young lady. Tell me what I need
Some
to
of them
say.
some of them
Tell me the
poetic
language. What I
words.
gotta say. How am I gonna approach her?
So if I'm walking up to a beautiful Ghanaian
Tone
woman,
of the voice changed. I
you
heard
know,
that.
you hear that tone. You know, the pocket changes.
Yeah.
It's a Odofo, it's a saying.
I don't know what to.
Odofo.
Adolfo.
Adolfo.